Welcome back everyone to Pineleaf Plays the Rune-keeper. It's now time to turn in some quests. First, let's talk on the epic.
May Govanen.
Averthel is being held in that encampment after all? You have done well! But this confirms the fears of Master Durger. The dwarves are indeed behind the capture of Averthel. The time has come to confront Matthew Stouthand, the Lord of Gondamon, with this news. If he will not command his dwarves to release Averthal, then my time as emissary is over. There will be war. Should I tell her something?
You may be of service to me.
I guess she doesn't know about Dour Hands and how they don't care what Matthew thinks. Alright, I guess that looks reasonably good. Alright, and very well. Matthew looked me in the eye this very morning and swore that the dwarves were proud to have the elves of Doyland as neighbors. Such dishonesty, and right to my face. I thought he was truer than that, but I should have known better. No dwarf can be trusted. When you have the works of art or history of the desire that he desires to possess, go to Matthew Stouthand and demand that he order his dwarves to release Averthal. If he wants war, he shall have it. You must tell him this. I do not trust myself to speak to one so dishonest without striking him. You will find Matthew in the upper levels of Gondamon. Make haste! Right. Oh yeah, that quest. Maybe I should tell you that there are two factions of dwarves going around here. Will you believe it? Well, let's turn in these things. Actually, what about the Hobbit present? 5 Daleman crabs. Well, may come in handy later. Scalable food. And speaking of food, I never got around to... I know this is pretty old stuff right here. Really old stuff there. So, probably use that up first. Now, let's get back to this.
I am at your service.
Ah, good! That should teach the Dour Hands a little lesson. You have done us quite a favor, and helped to ensure that Gondamon remains secure for the coming winter months. Now let's find some suitable reward for you. Well, I guess I could use the rune stone. I think that's a nice reward. Thank you.
Well met, friend.
Thank you for bringing the bear meat. You're welcome. Well. Now up to... Yeah, this one I want to take care of.
What do you want?
This is what I feared, but I could not bring myself to admit it. This shield bears the mute testimony of the treachery of the Dour Hands. You have my thanks for these dark tidings.
Will you help me?
You have done me a great service, ill though your news was received. These vile Dour Hands, how dare they? Geller has come to them to talk of peace, but they cut him down like a goblin. I will have my revenge. Our elders watch me too closely, for they know my temper. I cannot fight the Dour Hands myself, but you... A while back, an elf came here looking for information about the Dour Hands. He thought they might be up to something truly terrible. He sent his name was Glamir. I sent him towards the woods east of Gondamon. Seek him out. Maybe he knows the whereabouts of Skeefty Blackhand, the leader of the Dour Hands that fortified at the fortified eastern camp. My brother must have been slain at his orders. A grim and deadly warrior he is. Seek Glamir to learn Sith's vengeance and wreak my vengeance upon the Skithy's head. Right. Okay. That's one more. Presume that's to the next hub. Let's take care of Matthew.
What do you want?
Hold your accusations, Elf. My people are not responsible for your missing prince. I am offended both by the accusation and by your tone. I strongly doubt my tone was in quite the insulting manner that she had intended me to send it. Your elf prince is being held by the encampment to the north. Ah, yes, that explains a great deal. You see, my people are Longbeards, an honorable family descended from Durine, the first fathers of the dwarves. Yes, we had that established during the tutorial and during the introduction. The dwarf camp to the north is a constant annoyance to me and my folk. It is established by the Dour Hands, a thoroughly unwholesome family of dwarves who trace their ancestry to the evil Skorgrim Dour Hand. Now, of course, the reason why they have to go through all this is just in case someone who went through the starter area in Archet decided to come here and do the elf introduction. It is allowed, but of course it does mean they have to add a few details that some people may have skipped. Dwarves may have taken Avathal, true, but not my dwarves. The Dour Hands are to blame, and they are as much a thorn to my side as they are to yours.
Will you help me?
Your people wouldn't understand the difference between Durin's folk and the Dour Hands. If my dwarves attempt to rescue the elf prince and fail, your elves might assume that we and the Dour Hands are in league. Then what? War between the dwarves and the elves? No, that cannot be allowed to happen. What we need is someone trusted by elves and dwarves alike to this attempt. There is a man, a ranger out in the wilds to the east, who has assisted both our kindred on sundry times. He is a masterful of the art of hunting and stealth. Seek out the ranger Langlass and the hunter's lodge east of here. I only hope he will accept this responsibility. So this is when we get sent back to the camp that we were at earlier, and that's why I was able to safely postpone doing the quests there before coming here. Now, here's a task bulletin board. Now this is a rather unusual type of quest in that when you're at a task board, you have sort of easy quests, I guess you could say. Trivial quests, I guess, might be another way of putting it. And these quests, though, have you collect 10 items that are known as trophy items. You collect these 10 trophy items. And once you collect the 10 trophy items, then you're able to turn them in. I presume this is the task. Yeah, Tindar, I think, is the taskmaster here. And you turn them in. Now, at some places, the task bulletin board's quests are turned in at a taskmaster who's nearby. Sometimes they're hard to find, though. Sometimes they're turned into a box that's below the task bulletin board. You'll find this in Moria, and you'll find that in Western Rohan. Sometimes it's turned in by clicking on the task board, and the task pops up below that. So here we are. Here are all the tasks. Now, there's a rather strict rule on range for tasks, so that once I get to a few levels above mine, I'll no longer be able to turn in tasks here. Now, you could do up to 5 tasks per day. You could unlock further ones and stuff like that by spending mithril, but I usually limit myself to however many you have on the for your daily limit. My daily limit is now 5. Once you do 100 tasks, you complete a deed that will allow you to do 6, etc. Now, I do have a plugin that I didn't mention before, and that is called Daily Tasks. And what I do is I type in d/dtn space semicolon LOC, and that tells me all the tasks that are available at the nearest bulletin board, and I have to have 5 tasks that I can complete today. This way, I never take a task unless I know I can complete it. You can also look in your inventory if you don't feel like using plugins for it. So I could turn in broken daggers 3 times, I could turn in broken sword sheets once, and matted skins once. So, let me take care of this. Broken daggers. So, accept that quest. Okay, he isn't the taskmaster. Who is the person I turned these? Deliver the daggers to Dory at Gondamon. I told you, sometimes they're... Oh, this guy. Yeah, what's he doing way down here?
Greetings.
Ah, good to see that our hands are still worthless in a fight as always. Breaking their own daggers. Ha! I'm sure 1 or 2 of them. Now the up-and-comer, that's just a challenge to do 100 tasks. And if I complete 100 of these tasks, then what it'll do is it'll give me an extra task, extra 1 per day, so I could do 6 per day instead of 5 per day. After you do 300, you get a cloak, the busy bee. And also let me pick up the broken sword sheets 1. And the matted skin. I might as well turn all those 3 in together. Now the reason why you don't want to pick these up in advance before collecting the items is they start to take up all the space in your quest tracker, and that's rather...
Well met.
That's bad if you update that every time you pick up an item. See, mad skin.
What do you want?
Not as sturdy as a hide, but this can be sewn together for patches. Your efforts will echo through the halls, yes, and I get reputation with Thorn's Hall. So this is the best way to get early rep with Thorn's Hall, especially if you're not doing the Thorn's Hall quests.
What do you want?
Proof positive that we are working towards reclaiming Erluine for the glory of the dwarves. Your efforts will echo through the halls, yes, of course, as always. So I reached my D task limit. No, I didn't mean to turn that on, but you can, for 10 mithril you can reset your daily task, which I'm not in the mood of doing. And I also got a D to the up-and-comer, so I would get an upgrade limit token and a title. Now the main reason for doing these is for rep. And of course you all get XP, but I have XP turned off right now. The disadvantage of doing them is now I just sold all those trophy items that I was collecting them, and I can get
Of what help may I be to you?
cash in return for them, so therefore I'm getting less reward cash-wise in return for a higher reward XP. Well, in this case, as I said, that XP is irrelevant in that particular case. So I'm getting less XP and let's see, less XP. Right, oh, okay, let me say that. You get XP, you get more XP, you get more rep, those are usually the two things you get it. You get less cash if you turn in the tasks. So therefore, tasks aren't for everyone, especially if you're interested mainly in getting funds. Now I'm going back to get those wolves. Before I head off into the next area. Oh, now I'm collecting pelts. Before I was not getting them. Now let's see. Alright. There you go. And that's that wolf. Ooh. They don't do too well in lightning, do they? Yeah, no, they'll just make me dizzy. And let's see. If we're lucky, this will be the last one. We're not lucky. Well, at least I'm getting some more pelts and working on that advanced slayer deed for the wolves. Alright, those are my 5 pelts. Looks like he crippled me on his death throes. Now about these... Yeah, let's turn in this quest first since we are right by Gondamon. So the question is whether to go to the Vow of Vengeance next, to the Elf Ruins, or if we just follow the epic story to here and take care of the lodge. The advantage of the lodge is I did a check there and the quest there is level 10. The Vow of Vengeance is 11, so I think that... So going to the lodge first I'll probably do. And then after that, then I'll go and follow the Vow of Vengeance.
What do you want?
The dwarves of Gondamon will be grateful for these pelts when winter arrives. Thank you. Alright, there we go. And just in case I forget or anything like that, I better pick up this quest also.
Greetings, friend. Will you lend me your ear?
If white stir the bones of the ancient Edain, then an evil has arisen in these mountains which we should fear. The fell spirits that stir the bones of the dead are servants of Angmar, of the Witch King of old, and of the Shadow of the East. I must ask you to seek out the evil and put whatever end you may upon its dark before its darkness spreads. Take this elfstone to Glamir. He dwells now in the ruins of the northeast Gondamon at the southern end of the Grimwater. So go to Glamir. And in fact, Glamir is the guy I have to talk to for the Vow of Vengeance. So it is a good thing that I went back there in order to speak with her first. And now, let's get back to... Yeah. Let's get back to the lodge, which means going this way. So, the wolves are seeking revenge, are they? Or were they your pack mates or something? Well, Very well. Alright, now it's leading me to Glimmer, so let me go to Langlis first. That ranger. And that ranger is at the lodge. And we could do a couple of quests there, plus help the ranger. And that will probably make up our next episode. For this will conclude our episode for today, assuming I arrive in one piece. So return next time for our next episode of Pineleaf Plays the Rune-keeper.